right. Hey, guys. Welcome. And we are here for our new time, guys. This is our new time. Usually, for those of you who tune in with me every week, usually we are on at 1 o'clock on Thursdays. But guess who's coming to dinner? It's me, okay? Me and my fabulous female entrepreneur friends, mompreneurs, still amazing guests that I'm going to be bringing you guys, but I'm just bringing them to you now at 7 p.m. every Thursday. So make sure you mark it on your calendar, set your alarms, okay? Those of you who tune in with me every week, make sure you don't miss it. Hey, we can ride home with you from work, maybe while you're prepping for dinner, okay? But I heard you loud and clear because y'all said, hey, we want more time. We want more time. You said lunchtime was not enough for you. And you also said that you wanted more real talk, that you wanted to actually be engaged in the conversation with us. So what I'm going to start doing is dropping you a question. If you go to my stories every week, the day before, so we'll be going live every Thursday now, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. But on Wednesdays, I'm going to drop a question for you in my stories that has to do with what me and my guests for that week will be talking about. So I want you to make sure that you pop in, see the question, and then I want you to drop me a line. Let me know the answer to the question. I want you to drop me a line. Let me know your answer, because then what will happen is we're going to come and talk about it right here on the show with my guests. Now, we won't mention no names, okay? We're not going to call people out, okay? But we will talk about what you want to talk about, because that's why we're here, guys. That is why we are here. We're here to make sure that you get what you need, that it is food for your soul. Okay, so with that, who am I? I'm so glad you asked. I am Janelle Boyd. I am the founder of the Eventful Life Enterprises. I am the founder of the Eventful Life TV, Living Out Loud. I am a educator. I'm a motivator. I'm a mompreneur. I officially call myself the mompreneur. And just recently, y'all, I am an instigator, because in this space right here, I challenge you to think a little bit differently. How many of y'all know sometimes we need that good girlfriend who's going to challenge us to think a little bit differently, a little bit outside the box, right? Because sometimes we get used to thinking a certain way. Sometimes we get used to thinking, girl, I can't do that. Or girl, you know what? I had a hard time. I failed at that. So you know what? I don't think that's going to be able to happen for me. Sometimes we get that in our head, but we need somebody to challenge us and say, no, not today, sis. You can do that. And here's why, because I went through it too. So that is what the Eventful Live TV is all about. It is about bringing you women just like I have this week, who are sharing with you authentically about how they failed forward, okay? Fail out loud. Okay, we're gonna live out loud, but fail out loud, because that's how we learn. And that's also how we know that, guess what? We're not in it alone. Like, listen, I done had bad days. Yeah. I have failed at some things. Delayna, have you failed at some things?
Oh, you better believe it.
Listen. She said, you better believe it. Okay. And we're gonna talk about that today. But that is what we are here for. So share this out with another woman entrepreneur, another mompreneur who you know needs to hear this. Go click subscribe on our YouTube channel, so that way you can continue to get more of this good. Okay, y'all? All right. So with that, I am so excited to share with you my next guest, honey. She has been sitting here looking pretty and fabulous and waiting patiently, okay? But she is phenomenal. I have known her, I feel like I've known her forever, okay?
I know.
Yes, we have seen each other grow. We've seen each other grow in business and life, kids, all of that. And I'm just so happy to see how she's evolved in her business, in her wifehood, in her mommyhood. And so she said she's gonna come and share this space and time with me today, y'all. So I am so excited to have Delayna Watkins. She is a mompreneur. She is a wellness expert. She's the founder of the Women's Wellness Lounge. And I can't wait until she starts to tell you more about that, because that in and of itself is phenomenal. Okay. But Delayna, hey girl.
Hey girl.
This is so good. Thank you for being here.
You know what? It's one thing to kind of be on a show, but to know the host and have like a personal relationship, that right there just kind of allows you to like let your hair down. You can be like, oh, okay,
right. Okay,
all right,
look, let it all the way down.
Yeah.
That's right. Because it's like catching up with your good girlfriend. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So thank you for having me on tonight.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So listen, we're going to dive right in, because one thing I do know about this, whether it's 1 p.m. or 7 p.m., the time flies when you're having fun and having a good time with the girlfriends. So let's jump right in. The first thing I want to talk about. So guys, we're going to talk a little bit about today. The topic of our conversation is don't regain what you lost. Don't regain what you lost. And I know some of y'all are thinking, okay, sis, why are you calling me out on my weight? But listen, we're gonna get into it, because it's not just about that. It's not just about that. It's not just about the physical weight. But Delayna, before we jump into that part, let's start with your story, because I know you have been in this wellness space for a long time. And so I have watched how you have showed us how to get well, how you showed us how to take sugar out of our diet, just such good information. And I even watched your own journey, while you got well and you got which has been amazing. So where did that start? How did you gain this love for wellness?
Well, I've been in the health and wellness, well, really healthcare industry. So I won't say health and wellness arena, but I've been in the healthcare industry now for over 30 years. And so that started really with me becoming a nurse early on. And so my mindset around health revolved around making people that were already sick get well. And somewhere along that journey, a switch flipped for me. And it was when I was a home care nurse. So I would go out to people's homes and provide care to them as they were discharged from the hospital, or maybe they had gone to their physician and he recommended home care for them. And so during this journey, I kept seeing like this thread. You know how you kind of just are doing something and then you don't realize that there's a common thread?
Yeah.
What you're seeing?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So about maybe 6 months into this journey of me and this new venture of mine as a home care nurse, I started noticing that a lot of my clients who were women were dealing with the same issues over and over and over. And it really wasn't for the lack of them not wanting to do or be different. It was because they either lacked the motivation, the support, or the knowledge. So I said, there's something here and I need to figure out what it is. And so around 2009, 2010, that's when I started to kind of understand that I needed to do something. Janelle, I didn't know what it was. I just like,
I gotta do something, right?
It started out as a passion project. Like I've got to tell women what we need to do and how we can do it, and we need to do it better. And so that's when I just started kind of just speaking. And then I just developed the Women's Wellness Lounge because, like, women love to just get together. We don't mind.
We do, honey.
Plan a party and we will come. Okay.
Yes.
So that's how the Women's Wellness Lounge started out as. It really just started out as us getting together monthly for 2 hours in the evening for like a party type situation to talk about health and ways that we can approach our health differently. So that's kind of how I easy walked my way into this whole thing called health and wellness.
But I think that's, so a couple of things. Number one, I love that you saw a problem and was like, okay, what is the solution, right? Like you weren't like, okay, I see this problem. Somebody need to fix it. I don't know who, but somebody. You were like, no, I can, I feel like I can find a solution or help them find a solution to this issue that is impacting, like you said, impacting, all kind of women. And it was a common denominator, So again, going back to what I said earlier, y'all, sometimes we think that, oh, this is only happening to me. But then you go and talk to somebody like a Delayna, and she's like, no, ma'am. this is something that is happening to a lot of people. So you're not in this alone.
Right.
And you were the glue that kind of brought these women together to then talk about it. And I think the fact that you got them to talk about it too, because let's be honest, I mean,
yeah.
let's go back in the day, right? Like I can remember growing up, we weren't talking, you know, it was not okay necessarily to talk about your health openly, right?
Yeah.
Especially not in the Black community. Like I'm gonna just, you know, just
absolutely. Yeah.
We didn't talk about those things. It was like, you know, if you saw Uncle Ricky and Uncle Ricky was sick, you know, you just be like, oh well, something's wrong with Uncle Ricky, but wasn't nobody gonna tell you what was wrong with Uncle Ricky. Right, right, you know. So I think that that's, you know, a huge accomplishment for you to even get these women in a safe space where they felt comfortable.
And that's the key. You just said it. It was the safe space. So the lounge became that safe space.
Yeah.
I mean, we had women sometimes, Janelle, that would come and like open up their shirts to show their breasts, to show that they had a lump that was here. You know, they felt that comfortable in that safe space because they felt that what they were sharing would help another woman to be comfortable enough to, you know, check her breasts every month. Those type of things. So absolutely, you hit the nail on the head. We created the environment, the safe space. We made it okay to talk about your concerns, you know, any issues, anything that you felt uncomfortable with, or anything that you felt like you needed more information about. We made it so comfortable to talk about the uncomfortable.
Right. And I think that's huge. And you've been doing that now for 10 years. So tell us about this 10-year. Okay, because you know, that is not an easy feat. Like, you know, to say that you've been pretty much helping women transform their lives for 10 years. That's huge, Delayna.
That's huge. But you know, again, it's so funny because, you know, as we're sitting down, me and the planning committee for the 10-year, we're thinking back, or they are too, because they've been with me. And so we're like, we started this in 2011. You know, we've done this and we've been here and we've done that. But when you're doing what you love, the time, you know, so much energy goes into that because you enjoy it, that you really don't think about the time that has lapsed because you're really walking in your passion.
Yeah, you're in it.
You're in it. You're in it. And so I had to sit back and think, oh my gosh, yes. September the 14th, 2011 was the very first Women's Wellness Lounge that we hosted. And I had, Janelle, no idea, you know, whether it was people were going to latch onto it, whether they would something that the community needed, whether people would see value, whether they would come out, you know, and it ended up being a sold out event. And every second Wednesday after that, we met. And, you know, this woman would tell this one would go to work and share it with that one. And it just became this, you know, kind of like a girls' wellness, I would call it, healthy happy hour.
I love that. Healthy happy hour.
Healthy happy hour. And so we just kind of come and just enjoy ourselves. So 10 whole years we've been doing it since September 2011.
Wow. And there's an anniversary party on the horizon, isn't it?
Yes. Now let me tell you how this whole evolution came about. So the first one that we held on that date was at the CEO Cafe that was owned by Rick and Odessa.
I remember that.
Yes, remember that? So I held the first one there, and then subsequent ones were held at Signature Blue with Hyacinth Tucker.
Yes.
But that very first one was held in Greenbelt, and the 10-year anniversary is going to be held at the Crown Plaza, which is adjacent to the CEO Cafe. So we're coming back home, essentially.
Back home to where it all started.
Yes. On September the 18th. So almost like that whole thing, as we're planning this, just blows my mind. So it tells you that when you are passionate about something and you walk in it, and regardless of whether you're getting bumped, bruised, knocked down, or you don't know what tomorrow's going to bring, you just keep pushing forward, you know?
That's right.
Yeah, because you started this, you know, tonight's show by saying have you ever failed at something? That's why I'm like, oh, absolutely. Like there
Right.
was
Well, listen,
yeah.
you actually great timing. Look, I didn't
Yes.
even tell her to do that, y'all. Okay. She just got it like that.
Segue right in.
So, because that was gonna be my next question is, anything that has spanned 10 years, I know you've had to have some moments, where it was like, okay, is this gonna be able to continue? Or maybe you had some things that you were looking for the wellness lounge to do, and it didn't quite work out. Let's talk about that too, because I do want the audience to keep in mind that anything that you start, anything that you are passionate about, like you just said, it's gonna come with the bumps and the bruises, in addition to the high moments and the happy moments, that the what I call the clouds. I mean the butterflies and the rainbows. You also going to get the bumps and the bruises,
Absolutely.
So can you share some, some moments where maybe you had those experiences and you weren't quite sure if Wellness Lounge was going to make it to 10 years?
Absolutely. I mean, and it is almost like it was yesterday when it really was about 3 years ago now. So we had, my husband was just pushing me as he always does, and he was behind me. And I had like this feeling to do my own, because I had initially was renting space to host it. And again, that vision of mine was just to have my own space, my own wellness lounge for women to come to. And I had done some research and said, okay, I think this is the right neighborhood to open it, to have it. I know that women here need, this, that I'm offering, what we have.
Sure.
And it lasted about 1.5 years, almost 2 years. And we had to close the doors. We had opened up our own brick and mortar, the Women's Wellness Lounge, and the neighborhood and the area that we opened it up in. Even though I tried to do my research on, really finding out whether this was where it should have been, I really don't, looking back, because everything that you do, you should really kind of have a
hindsight. Hindsight 2020.
Right. Find out what to learn from this. Because I always say you didn't fail at something if you gained a lesson from it.
That's right. So it's only opportunity.
It's an opportunity, right? So there was just a couple of different things I probably would have done. Not probably, that I know that I would have done differently, even though I know even to this day that definitely that what we offered in the Women's Wellness Lounge was necessary and needed in the community. I should have partnered with other businesses, other leaders and providers in the neighborhood
that could have brought
in.
So
that I would not have to work as hard to market, to bring the women there.
Business in. Gotcha.
And so in hindsight, I believe that was a lot of what I probably should have done prior to. But I always say to my husband, I let my emotions lead me right on into it, because I was so, again, the passion drove me to do that. So
our passion is, it's like you say, it can be, I mean, it is a great thing, I think, there's pain that comes out of passion, so I think that they sometimes go hand in hand. And like you said, you learn though, and I think that's the valuable thing, is that you could walk away from it saying, you know what, I learned so much from the experience, and grateful that I had the experience, right?
Exactly. So I had to get to that place, because whenever we feel like something didn't do what we wanted, it kind of takes you from here, like it's like a roller coaster drop.
It's like a roller coaster. Tell me.
It's like a roller coaster. Like
you be like, okay, Lord.
And, boom. So after I kind of recovered from that and still knew, that it definitely is necessary. Like I said before, it's needed. It's okay. What are we going to do different? And so again, I've spent the last 2 years really partnering and building these relationships, so that what we're planning for the next, couple of years will definitely be where I envision it being.
Where it can thrive.
So it can thrive, kind of just go around, and really doing a lot of homework on the business aspect as well, because I realized that I didn't quite do, my homework there, on the business side of it. So I spent during COVID, actually, a lot of time revisiting some business models and some different things
Yes.
and all of that.
Yes.
So ladies, if you're out there and anything that you're passionate about and you're taking the bull by the horns and walk right into it. And if you do fail forward, because that's what I felt like I've done, that I failed forward,
That's right. Because look, you're planning for the 10-year anniversary of it. So you absolutely have failed forward. You took what you learned. Like you said, I love that you said I used COVID to really look at the business of it, because come on now, like we've been here in the house for how long? So if you come out of this thing the same, you missed the boat, right?
Yeah.
But I love that you really evaluated, the scenario and took from it. Like you said, it takes you a minute. And I think what we have to learn is to separate ourselves from the task, right?
Oh, yeah, definitely.
Like you didn't fail. The concept, the idea, didn't work at this particular time, but you are not a failure because of the idea. Like you will have other ideas and you are moving forward,
That's a good way to put that, because that's exactly what I had to do. I had to take some time to do that. Yeah.
Listen, I'm talking to you, Delayna, but I'm talking to me too.
Right.
So, okay.
Right.
I'm a coach to me too, so, but it's true, because I think that is where sometimes we get stuck. But you push through it, and I love the fact that you can see that now on the other side of it, because now we got to celebrate.
Yes, we got to celebrate all that, the highs, the lows, the wins, the losses, the ups, downs.
That's right. That's right. So let's talk about, moving into kind of the next thing that I want to talk about is, just over this, the span of 10 years and how you've been in the wellness space and everything, you talked a lot about, like, I've seen some of your posts talking about, cutting out sugar. Like, I know you've had a very big emphasis on, educating on how sugar is in everything, which it really is. It's crazy. But how you can cut that out of your, of your diet or out of your daily intake, right? But I also know, and going back to what we just talked about, is like sometimes while we lose things, right, we also have to make sure that we don't regain things. And that could be, and I know I can feel the audience out there like, okay, so now sis about to talk about these extra pounds I done gained. Why is she coming for me today? No, I am not just talking about the physical weight, okay? I'm talking about the mental weight that we carry around sometimes too. So I really want to, jump into that with you, Delayna, in your opinion and your expertise, why do we do this kind of, I hate to call it yo-yoing, but, it's like we're on a seesaw, right?
Absolutely.
We lose it and we lose the weight mentally or physically, we lose the weight, but then we regain it. And so let's dig into that. Why do you think that is?
Oftentimes, and that is such a good question, because I always say to people that the weight that you gain isn't always just physical. Sometimes it's tied to what we're experiencing emotionally and mentally as well. So when we look at like what we've just gone through or what we're still kind of in the midst of, and that being
this pandemic,
and that was tied to a lot of financial, emotional, physical, like it was tied to everything spiritual. We couldn't go to church and fellowship with our family and our friends. And so that's what's called the circle of life or the wheel of life. And when we look at that, it's all spokes of those things have to be in harmony, right? Really, you say balance versus harmony, kind of the same thing. Harmony just sounds sexier to me, but
I love that. She said harmony sounds sexy.
The harmony just sounds sexier to me, but it's really just trying to make sure that all of that is in balance. And so when we think about regaining, just even thinking about, I'll use the pandemic, for example. Like changes are starting to happen now as we keep an eye on what's going on and what's happening. So as we're getting comfortable, we're trying to get back to what's was pre-COVID and what was our normal life to some degree, we're now being told, wait a minute, hold on. So emotionally, that's difficult because now we're at a situation where we're like, okay, are we going to continue teleworking? What are we going to do with the kids? Are we able to go out? Can we walk without? So all of that just really kind of plays on our emotional and mental well-being. And so
That's
with that,
good.
right, and that takes up a lot of our energy. And
Yeah.
so on
I
top of that,
mean,
yeah. So on
I
top of that, you
know
now
we
want me
all
to
know
worry
we're gonna
about,
be in this thing for a month.
yeah,
And
no,
then it's like, oh no. We're talking like maybe a
oh
year,
yeah,
you
oh
know.
yeah,
I
yep.
was like, okay, wait a minute. I wasn't ready.
No, a lot of people weren't ready. And the funny thing was, Janelle, at the onset of it, I kept trying to preempt and prepare people without scaring individuals, right? So I was hosting, Cherie and I were holding these like weekly type of lives, trying to really get people to wrap their minds around it because the information, they were tiptoeing a little bit. And I knew that we weren't going to be out of that sooner rather than, later rather than sooner.
Right,
So I was trying to communicate that and get people to kind of be hyper vigilant. And then we ended up in this bubble. And so when we aren't prepared for that, it takes a lot out of us. And then when it's not, and we don't have the proper coping mechanisms, that's when stress will come on. And so when we don't know how to deal with stress, or we don't have the resources to deal with stress, oftentimes that's when anything else and everything else that we may have been doing and we haven't embraced it as a lifestyle.
That's good.
Yep, it becomes a free for all. And so I like to impart to the ladies out there, my sisters, what I always impart is, you don't want to do anything that's only going to give you a temporary result. You want to always aim for a lifestyle change. And so when we do that, even if we're faced with like emotional roller coasters, Janelle, up and down, tomorrow we could be told we're going back on shutdown. But if what we, embrace and what we're doing is part of our lifestyle, you won't go too far off of the norm.
That's right.
Because it's part of your lifestyle. And so it usually takes much longer to undo a lifestyle than it does to something that you've signed on to short term.
That's so good. I love that. I love that. So I love, y'all, let me just recap. I love the fact that she said you have to embrace it as a lifestyle and not just, a short-term, goal or short-term practice, right? Because like she said, if things go off course, I mean, the reality is that we could find ourselves in another shutdown, right? Like we don't know. Well, we hope not. Lord, we hope not. But we don't know with this variant and, how things are starting to spread again. And so if it's a lifestyle, right? If it's a lifestyle, and I kind of liken that to, Delayna, I talk a lot about becoming, right? And becoming what it is that you are striving to be instead of do. And I think that is in alignment with, what you're saying about a lifestyle. Like you have to become a healthier person, And so if we wrap our heads around that or embrace that, then we won't step back. We all have our moments. I mean, I know, I have I have my thing going on.
Yes. Oh, I do too.
Right.
Again,
Okay.
Part of your lifestyle, you won't go too far off. Like you're always, I always use the 80-20 rule. So 80% of the time I'm living this, pretty much a healthy lifestyle. There's 20% of the time where I'm just like, I'm celebrating or I'm out or I'm doing this or that.
You still want to live.
Yeah, you still live, you know, but you don't go too far off. If it's part of your lifestyle, again, you're more likely to continue with that behavior and make those healthier choices than if you opt for a short-term solution. You can abandon that and be like, oh girl, whatever, I tried, I can't, bother. And so it's easier for you to abandon that than it would be for your lifestyle. Stripping away your lifestyle takes, some time.
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. And so I also want to touch on, because right now we kind of are referencing the framework of, eating well and moving your body. But let's also be clear that this also has to do with, your energy, right? So what you keep around you, who you keep around you, but also resting. So I'll be honest, I'm gonna have a moment of truth. Right now with everything opening up, I'm starting to feel this pull towards going back into this kind of like always busy, always running. And it's pulling, it's nagging at me though, because there is a part of me, and I think going back to what you said about the lifestyle, there's a part of me that has adopted this calmness in my lifestyle where I'm like,
In the
no,
busyness.
I don't do that anymore. Like I still want to have my space to be able to be in my space that I hold near and dear, that is just for me. But I in the last couple of weeks, I've felt myself kind of pulling back into this busy state and really fighting against it. Like I don't know. Do you know what I mean? Like I'm fighting against it because I'm like, that's not what I want. No.
There you go. Right. And stay there, right? So be true to that. Be true to what it is that you want, because I can tell you, so I typically, and of course for the last, since we've all kind of teleworked and I've been out less. And so I'm going out a little bit more. And I coined this year, once we kind of open up, that 2021, I was sunset chasing. And so I've just been at different places outside, right? Watching the sunset and kind of being outdoors. So I've moved my office to just be like outdoors, outside. So I don't want to feel like I'm confined to the house or into your own space or to your office, but I still feel that I'm productive because I'm out.
Because you're outside.
We just like to kind of be, in the know, busy. And I think sometimes we associate busy and that I don't have room on my calendar with being productive. So I've gotten better with that. That I do unplug and take time for me and, kind of girlfriend chat and do all of those things that I once at one time, it was like, girl, get on my calendar. I don't have time to chit chat. Just get on my calendar, call me, text me, give me a time frame.
Well, it takes the humanity away, right? Like I felt like, we were no longer being humans. We were being robots. And we're like you said, girl, get on my calendar. Okay, no, I don't have time. Text me, don't call me. Like I legit hated people calling me because I was like, you know what, that's taking too much of my time.
Right.
You just shoot me a text. I was like, okay, what's wrong with you?
Where did that come from? What?
I want to talk to people. So I don't want to go, I don't, and that's the part that I'm fighting against. Like, I don't want to go back into that space. So I love how you said, that it's okay for me to feel that way, like honor that, because that just shows, that I'm really trying to keep the lifestyle that I've grown into, so, ladies, if you feeling some of that, if some of you are out there and you're like, you know what, I don't want to go back into that space where I was just running, myself to death, or, you feeling like you were having that fogginess because you had too much on the plate. Well, you just heard Delayna say it. That's okay. Fight against it.
Okay. Embrace it. Feel it at the moment and decide if that's really where you want to be, right? And or what can I do different so that it satisfies that need or that want to kind of be busy.
Right. I love that. So let's talk about, as we're coming out of this pandemic and kind of stepping into this new normal, what do you feel like is the one piece of advice you can offer people, kind of similar to what we were just talking about, to really just make sure that they stay or even enter into this place? Because let me not just assume that everyone, went on the same journey. We all have different journeys. And some people, they just had to find their way through the pandemic the best way they knew how, right? Like maybe they didn't tap into wellness, or they really were just trying to survive. I mean, that's a real thing.
Actually, I think the pandemic, Janelle, forced some people to look at wellness differently, because let's think about what the pandemic was. It was this unknown virus that was plaguing us in such a way that it had people worrying about whether or not they were taking the right precautions. So even if you were someone who didn't, prior to the pandemic, worry about washing your hands,
Yeah.
eating properly, making sure that your body was healthy enough so that it wouldn't be the great host for a virus to
Right.
thrive in. It made us stop and take pause of
Mhm.
our physical wellness. So
Right.
even if it wasn't your intention, somewhere within these last 18 months, since
Yeah.
March of 2020, you thought about your wellness.
Yeah.
It's what you did
Did with
about
it.
the thought
Yeah.
about
Yeah.
your wellness that matters.
That's right. That's right. And that's and you know, and that's why I said don't regain what
Mhm.
you lost,
Mhm.
because you know, if you lost you know, if you experienced anxiety, right? If you experienced any depression, like don't regain that
Mhm.
stepping back out into the world or back into your routine. Like don't regain that. Make sure you protect your peace, protect your body, your mind, your soul, you know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Don't find yourself back in that space, because I think just so many of us, like you said, we realized whatever to whatever degree we realized that we either weren't doing some things
Right.
that we
Mhm.
should have been doing, right?
Yeah.
Or we realized that some things can change. Like I can shift some things and live a better quality of life than what I was doing before.
Absolutely.
So one last piece of advice
Sure.
for my ladies out there, and then I want you to tell them where they can find you, Delayna. How can they stay connected with you? And how can they find out about this 10-year anniversary if
Mhm.
they are interested in attending?
Sure, absolutely. So, of course, I love see above my head, living out loud. That is
Yes.
my piece of advice. Make sure that you continue to live out loud and do
Yes.
so in such a way that it wakes you up in the morning and you're ready when your feet hit the floor.
That's
That
right.
you are blessed to do so and that you make the most of it. And do whatever you do, make sure that you're doing it for you, because
Mm.
that will allow whatever changes that you're in the midst of making, that will make it real and that will make it raw and that will make it relevant
Oh, I
for you.
love that.
Yeah,
Did y'all get that for yours? Okay. She said that will make it real, that will make it raw, and that will make it what?
relevant.
Relevant. Yes. I
That's
love that.
it.
That's
Real, raw,
so
and
good.
relevant. Make it real to you, make it raw to you because it's for you, and make it
Yeah,
relevant to you.
that's right. You got to take care of you guys. I
Absolutely.
mean, gosh, that's so
Mhm.
important. You know, y'all know how I feel about self-love.
Yes,
Okay.
self-love. That's it in a
That's
nutshell.
right. Okay,
So
you
for
ready
more
for
of
this?
that,
Oh, go
yes,
ahead.
and
I'm
more of the
sorry.
Women's Wellness Lounge, you can find me on Facebook at
Yeah.
Delayna Watkins, the Wellness Maven. That's my personal page. Well, no, not my
Yes.
personal page. I'm sorry. That's my fan page.
Fan page,
And then the
business.
Women's Wellness Lounge is also a fan page on Facebook. And that is where we share all of those good health and wellness nuggets. So make sure that
Yes.
you are following that. And then my website where you guys can go on and make a free health consultation appointment with me is
Nice.
DelaynaWatkins.com. So go on there. And if you are in the midst of, feeling like you want to get rid of those pandemic pounds or the quarantine
I
15, just
love
hit
it.
me up
Pandemic
with
pound.
the pandemic pounds or the quarantine 15. Just go on to DelaynaWatkins.com. And, on there, I think it has a one-on-one consultation, and just click that link, find some time that I'm available and that you're available that fits your schedule, and schedule an appointment.
Look at that. Y'all just got a free consultation just for showing up. See
Just showing
what I
up,
tell y'all, it never hurts to show up. Always got to show up. All right. So we're going to do our rapid five. All
Yes.
right.
Okay.
These are 5 questions that I always ask every guest. Y'all know this. I don't give them the questions ahead of time. So
Okay.
they just share
Let me
whatever.
drink my water. Hold on.
Okay. And I'm not responsible for whatever they share. Okay. Here we go. Number 1, what do you like to do for fun?
Ooh, I am a big DIYer. Nobody knows this. Girl, I
Really?
can craft some stuff. Like, that's my other gift.
Oh, let me find out you can some Martha Stewart.
Yes, girl. I'm Martha Stewart. I'm a deep, listen, I DIY some things, okay? And I go over the top with it too.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yes.
Okay. I might have to come hang out with you.
Yeah.
All right. All right, number 2. What's one stereotype about moms or women that drives you bananas?
Oh, one stereotype of moms or women,
Or women.
that drive. Oh, that we like to talk all the time, and that the only people we want to talk to are our kids. That we just enjoy talking. Because you heard me just say, I was like, girl, I don't have time. Look, text me. So I think that's the stereotype, is that we don't mind talking all the time.
All the time. Yeah, no.
And
I think
sometimes I'm
that-
like,
yes, that's right. That's right. That's also a personality thing, because I'm like, some people have that kind of straight to the point personality where they're like, okay, no, get to the point. Don't beat around the bush. Like, come on,
come on, we got time. Let's
That's
go.
right. That's right. That's so good. Okay, number 3. Who is your BFF in your head?
Oh, my BFF in my head. Oh, that's a good one. Oh,
Girl, you know you got a BFF in your head. Who you be like, oh, we could hang out. We could definitely hang out.
Well, it always was Oprah, but I think everybody says that. And I think for Oprah, it's because I just want to pick her brain.
Yeah, Lady O.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
That's a good
I'm
one.
gonna go with Oprah. I have a
Good
couple I'm gonna
one.
go with Oprah.
I love Lady O.
Yeah.
But Lady O ain't for everybody, so.
She's not. And there's a lot about her that I want to pick her brain about. And it's really doesn't even have to do with the stuff that we see and hear about her every day. It's like some other, like some peel back the layer stuff that I would sit down with her and talk about.
So put it in the universe. Put it in the universe. All right. What do you dream of becoming?
Oh, gosh. Oh, you got some really good questions.
Those reactions, they be like,
I really dreamed of, I guess the last time that I dreamed, because I told you like the last year I've stayed in this, like really trying to figure. So I guess I've dreamed of becoming this well-known wellness person, right? Where she's the one that you go to.
well, you're already well known. Okay, give me something. You're gonna have to quantify that. Give me more.
Okay, all right. Let me go. Matter of fact, you know what? I'm gonna take it out of the other. I'm gonna go all the way over to the left and get out of the whole wellness space.
Okay.
So my other dream, if I wasn't to become a nurse, I love to dance. So my dream was to become a professional dancer.
Okay.
Let's go with that dream.
Okay, yeah, let's go with that one. I like that.
All right, because I saw myself on Soul Train when I was 5. Okay, so
I love that. Can't y'all see her being a dancer? I can see her being a dancer.
Okay, ride me like it's hot and everything. So whirling around, doing the whole thing, pulling my head up to my head, all of that.
Aren't y'all glad we joining y'all for dinner? This is such dinner time conversation.
Girl, I had my brothers like, girl, if you don't leave me alone, they were my dance partners, twirling me around, flipping me back, doing all that. We had a whole routine. I was waiting for Don Cornelius to call me. He never did.
It's hilarious. Oh my gosh. Okay, I'm not gonna ever forget that. Okay, and then last one, favorite song and why?
Favorite song. Oh.
And it got to be one that you dance to.
Girl, listen, it is not, it's, oh my goodness. My daughter, she would be like, Mom, please don't get on there and say that, sing everything. Won't he do it? He said he would.
Yes.
That's my song. I get up to that. I take my shower to it.
Yeah.
And sometimes, depending on if I'm not working late, I will go to sleep to it as well.
Yes.
That song touches on every aspect of everything that we just talked about.
Yeah.
When you think about when you're at your lowest, or even when you're at your high, you want to always celebrate and you always want to be appreciative.
That's
and
right.
All the words to that song that just does it for me.
That's right.
Yeah.
I love that.
So
Won't he do it?
Yeah.
Yes. And I love you mentioned the fact, waking up to music. I that's actually a practice of mine. I wake up, I play, I have my little list, my little gospel list. Then I have my little ratchet list. But to get me, it's just that, but music does that for me.
It does that for me. I don't care what
a better space,
Go,
a better
yeah,
mood
that's the tone for the day for me.
for the day. That's right.
That's my
That's right.
tone for the day.
I
So
love
yeah.
that. Awesome. See, that wasn't hard.
That
You
wasn't hard. I
did the
was like,
fabulous
woo.
vibe.
I drank my water and everything. I was like, woo, wait a minute, where we going?
So real quick, I just want to shout out some folks who joined us this evening. Shout out to Dr. Cherie. She joined us. She said, hello, ladies. Shout out to Carnisha. She said, the poll is so real. I need to learn how to be without feeling like everything is going to fall behind or all my juggling balls will drop out of the sky. I love that. That is so good. And I think a lot of us as women, we have felt that way at one time or another. Some of us might still be in that space. So I love that. Byron, shout out, hey B. Fitness saved so many. Yes, it has. It has been a lifesaver and a life giver to so many during this season. I mean, Delayna said it so good earlier. We really, it's almost like we rediscovered, ourselves through wellness, through fitness. So some started exercising just to get out of the house. That's right. Don't regain what you lost. Yes. And he said Tabitha Brown. Y'all a mess. So that's so good. That's so good. All right, y'all. Well, listen, I told you this time was going to go by so fast. It always does.
Yeah.
We've been having a good time. And like I said, when you're having a good time, you're in a good space, you're having a good time, and it's good talk, then you know the time is going to go by fast. But thank you guys for joining us. This is our first episode at this time, 7 o'clock. So let me know. Yes, let me know if you like it, if you love it. You know, I love feedback. I love when y'all talk to me. So let me know if you're liking this vibe, if you like the evening time. I like joining y'all for dinner. Okay, y'all know I like to eat, so I like joining y'all for dinner. But thank you for sharing this time and space with us. I know that you could be doing other things and you may be multitasking. That's totally okay. But we'll be right back here again next week, 7 o'clock, same time. And I'll be bringing you another phenomenal, fabulous woman entrepreneur, mompreneur, who's going to share with you while showing up authentically. Remember, guys, you can have it all as long as you are willing to have it on your terms and your time. All right, friends, until next time, I love you. Stay blessed. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.